study. And as I stated before, we're getting ready to go into Genesis chapter 42. But before we do that, like I said, because we have had a couple of sessions where we were kind of away and doing other things, if you just kind of remember where we are at the point where Joseph is right at that turning point. Joseph got sold by his family. He got lied on by Potiphar's wife. He got forgotten about by the cupbearer while he was in prison. But then God remembered Joseph because God gave a dream to the who? To the king, to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh had a dream. And he had a dream. His dream was about cattle and about grain. He had a dream of talking about the earth, right? He had a dream about things on the earth. And he couldn't understand it. So remember, he called in his wise men and his magician. And he says, I need y'all to tell me what's going on. Now, here's the thing. When God gives you something that he wants to inform you about, who has the definition as to what it means? God. We often think about God gave Pharaoh the dream, but the interpretation had to also come from God. I find it interesting. When I think about Pharaoh's dream, I also think about this word of God. God gave this to us, gave this to mankind. He gave the dream to one person. He gave this word to all people. But who is still the one to give interpretation? God. So therefore, when the magicians and the wise men that Pharaoh had in his council couldn't give Pharaoh an interpretation, that's when the butler remembered. It's like, oh, I remember running into somebody. And that's why it's always good to just, talk to people. Don't pressure folks. Just let people know, hey, I love the Lord, and let your light shine. Because when things happen, they're going to remember that person knows something about the Lord. I can go back and ask them. Well, the butler told about Joseph, and Joseph got brought up. He got some new clothes. He got washed. He got shaved. And he was brought before who? Brought before Pharaoh. All right. And then Pharaoh asked Joseph, could you interpret this dream? And Joseph told Pharaoh that what? He could. God would interpret this dream. He goes, all this, it belongs to God. And so he told him the dream about the Pharaoh, about the cattle, and about the grain, the seven plenty, and then the seven famine. And then Joseph gave Pharaoh the interpretation. That came from who? From God. God gave Joseph the revelation of Pharaoh's dream. Told him what it meant. And explained to him about the 7 years of plenty and about the 7 years of famine. Then Joseph gave him what? Wise counsel. This is what you should do. But that's been Joseph's reputation. That's his gift. His gift is what? A gift of what? Administration. Dream interpretation is correct. But he also had the gift of what? Administration. Because when he was in Potiphar's house, he recognized when he got there as a slave and he saw how Potiphar's house was run, he came in and organized stuff to the point where Potiphar was like, I'm going to let you take it over. Because you're so organized, you're so adept to doing things that we're going to let you run it. And he did everything. The only thing Potiphar had to be concerned about was what meal he was going to eat. But then when Potiphar's wife lied on him, he got thrown into what? In jail. But then when he got down there, the jailer needed somebody to do this, he would do it. Somebody else needed to do this, and he would do it. He volunteered for this, volunteered for that. Next thing you know, the jailer's like, this man's got gifts. He's got administrative wisdom and knowledge. And next thing you know, Joseph is running what?
He's running the prison.
Right. Now, why? Because that's who he is. That's a God-given ability that he had. Now he had the opportunity to be brought before who? Pharaoh. Now, his first job when he was running it, but what was his title? He was still a what? Slave. When he was running things down in the jail, he was running it, but what was his title? He was still a what? An inmate. But now, he's running something. What's his title now? Second in command. Riding behind Pharaoh's chariot. Got Pharaoh's ring on. Carrying all the authority and all that. And the only person in Egypt that had more of a say Then Joseph was Pharaoh himself. Now his title is one that actually means something. The scripture says your gift will do what?
Make room.
Make room for you. So he gave him wise counsel, and Joseph got promoted. And he had on the Pharaoh's ring. He got new apparel on. Remember that coat that his father made him? Mm-hmm. And the boys went out and ripped it up and dipped it in the blood and showed it to the father. And so you go, man, that was a special coat. But look, he got another one now. Mm-hmm. He got called up. He was told he got some new apparel. All right, and he was honored. And then he got opportunity now. He says, and I'm going to allow you to marry one of the women of. And he married one of the women of the priests, and he had 2 children. One was named Manasseh, and the other one was named Ephraim. All right. And all that happened, and Joseph began to organize and to instruct and to build during the times of the plenty, and then shortly before you know it, the time of famine began to arise. Now that's a lot of times when things begin to happen, because see, when plenty is around, folks just do what they want to do. Famine it pushes you somewhere. See, when you're full, and you're not hungry, and you're not thirsty, what do you want to do? Whatever it is you want to do. Yeah. But when you're hungry, and when you're thirsty, it's going to push you towards what?
Looking for it.
Looking for some food. You can be in your car going to Texas, but when you're hungry, what are you looking for?
Food.
You're looking for some food. Where are you going? I'm going to Texas, but where are you going right now? Right now I'm going to find me a restaurant. Mm. Why? Because I'm hungry. So you detour from your main goal to satisfy your what?
Natural.
Your hunger. Mm-hmm. And so that's a trait that we never really can stop, because you will always feed that to a certain degree. All right, so now we're in this point of hunger, and the whole nation of Egypt is experiencing it, plus the surrounding nations. And that's going to push them to something that the Lord had orchestrated. They're going to go in a direction that God had already preordained. So let's take a look. So that kind of gives us just a quick overview on 41. Let's take a listen to 42. Genesis chapter 42.
Chapter 42. Now when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons,
Why do ye look one upon another?
And he said,
Behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get you down thither, and buy for us from thence, that we may live and not die.
And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob said not with his brethren, for he said,
Lest peradventure mischief befall him.
And the sons of Israel came to buy corn among these that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. And Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them,
Whence come ye?
And they said,
From the land of Canaan to buy food.
And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew not him. And Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them, and said unto them,
Ye are spies, to see the nakedness of the land ye are come.
And they said unto him,
Nay, my lord, but to buy food are thy servants come. We are all one man's sons. We are true men. Thy servants are no spies.
And he said unto them,
Nay, but to see the nakedness of the land ye are come.
And they said,
Thy servants are 12 brethren, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and one is not.
And Joseph said unto them,
That is it that I spake unto you, saying, Ye are spies. Hereby ye shall be proved. By the life of Pharaoh ye shall not go forth hence, except your youngest brother come hither. Send one of you, and let him fetch your brother, and ye shall be kept in prison, that your words may be proved, whether there be any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh surely ye are spies.
And he put them all together into ward 3 days. And Joseph said unto them the third day,
This do and live, for I fear God. If ye be true men, let one of your brethren be bound in the house of your prison. Go ye, carry corn for the famine of your houses. But bring your youngest brother unto me. So shall your words be verified, and ye shall not die.
And they did so. And they said one to another,
We are verily guilty concerning our brother, in that we saw the anguish of his soul when he besought us, and we would not hear. Therefore is this distress come upon us.
And Reuben answered them, saying,
Spake I not unto you, saying, Do not sin against the child? And ye would not hear. Therefore, behold, also his blood is required.
And they knew not that Joseph understood them, for he spake unto them by an interpreter. And he turned himself about from them, and wept, and returned to them again, and communed with them, and took from them Simeon, and bound him before their eyes. Then Joseph commanded to fill their sacks with corn, and to restore every man's money into his sack, and to give them provision for the way. And thus did he unto them. And they laded their asses with the corn, and departed thence. And as one of them opened his sack to give his ass provender in the inn, he espied his money, for behold, it was in his sack's mouth. And he said unto his brethren,
My money is restored, and lo, it is even in my sack.
And their heart failed them, and they were afraid, saying one to another,
What is this that God hath done unto us?
And they came unto Jacob their father unto the land of Canaan, and told him all that befell unto them, saying,
The man who is the Lord of the land spake roughly to us, and took us for spies of the country. And we said unto him, We are true men, we are no spies. We be 12 brethren, sons of our father. One is not, and the youngest is this day with our father in the land of Canaan. And the man, the Lord of the country, said unto us, Hereby shall I know that ye are true men. Leave one of your brethren here with me, and take food for the famine of your households, and be gone. And bring your youngest brother unto me. Then shall I know that ye are no spies, but that ye are true men. So will I deliver you your brother, and ye shall traffic in the land.
And it came to pass, as they emptied their sacks, that, behold, every man's bundle of money was in his sack. And when both they and their father saw the bundles of money, they were afraid. And Jacob their father said unto them,
Me have ye bereaved of my children. Joseph is not, and Simeon is not, and ye would take Benjamin away. All these things are against me.
And Reuben spake unto his father, saying,
Slay my 2 sons, if I bring him not to thee. Deliver him into my hand, and I will bring him to thee again.
And he said,
My son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If mischief befall him by the way in the which ye go, then shall ye bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave.
Chapter 42.
All right. This is a very, very interesting chapter. There's a lot of information in here because it speaks a lot to how you perceive things. And I think we can also ourselves get a message from this on how we sometimes are in our everyday activities. Now, it starts off here and lets us know. It says, Now Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt. All right. So why is Jacob concerned with the fact that there's corn in Egypt?
Because he has none.
Because he has what?
None.
He has none. The famine. The famine directs your attention to focus on things that you would not ordinarily focus on. I got to pay attention to who's got corn. If I got corn, do I care about whether Egypt's got corn? No. I don't. If I got corn, I don't care who else got it. But when I don't have it, now I need to know who's got it. I heard, there's corn in Egypt. My focus is there. But wait a minute. What else is in Egypt? Joseph. Jacob thinks he's going to Egypt mainly for what? For corn. What's breaking Jacob's heart right now? That he believes
That Joseph is dead.
So he's heartbroken. He's worried. He's walking around in a depressed state, so to speak, Because in his mind, and in his mind alone, he believes his son is what?
Dead.
But God knows the difference. And God is allowing a famine to bring him to a place where his son is not only alive, but is what? Thriving.
Thriving.
Very successful. But as far as what Joseph is, as far as what Jacob is concerned, he's just going, I'm just going to stay depressed because this is how it is. This is how I see it. This is what it is. This is the truth. He's seen the coat that was dipped. But he was what? Tricked. He was deceived. Okay? So, we're going to talk some more about that trick. So he says, well, y'all go down there and see if you can buy some. So it says, he said it was corn in Egypt, and Jacob said to his sons, why do ye look one another? And he said, behold, I have heard there is corn in Egypt. Get you down thither and buy for us from hence, that we may live and not die. All right. So he's talking about what? We try not to die.
Trying to survive.
Trying to survive. And Joseph's 10 brethren came down to Egypt. Came down to buy corn in Egypt. And Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob sent not. All right. So Jacob did not send Benjamin. Why? Because Benjamin was the last son born to him by what? By the wife that he truly loved. Remember Rachel?
Yeah, Rachel.
And that was the one that he wanted to marry. Remember, he was I'm going to work 7 years for Rachel. He worked 7 years, and who did he get? He got Leah.
You got Leah.
All right. But then, finally, you remember the story, he got Rachel, and Rachel was having problems having children. Eventually she did. First child she had was Joseph. Second child she had was Benjamin. But when she had Benjamin, what happened? She died in childbirth. So that's it. So wrapped up in Benjamin is all Jacob has in relation to the first son whom he loved, he showed favoritism to, and the wife whom he loved, whom he showed favoritism to. And so he says, I'm not going to send Benjamin down because I don't want no mischief to fall upon him. All right? So now he's trying to do what? Protect. So his whole reason for not sending Benjamin and all of him, he could have went himself. Going down to Egypt was because he thinks he's trying to do what? The right thing. But in reality, he's fighting against what God's trying to do to open up his understanding to show him your worry and your concern are not valid. Boy, can we ever get to those types of situations where our worry and our concern is what? Not valid. We can worry, can't we?
Oh, yeah.
We can be concerned. We can feel like all is forgotten, all is lost, never going to happen, never going to be, because nothing's pointing towards the way it's supposed to be. But that don't mean that it's not already set up. God already has it set up. It's just a matter of following the right thing. And right now, God's using what? Hunger. All right, so hunger is going to get you where you need to be. All right, your appetite. So verse 5, it says, and the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, and the famine was in the land of Canaan. And Joseph was the governor over the land, and he went, and he it was who sold to all people of the land. So Joseph was the one, when people came in, wanted to buy, they had to speak to Joseph. Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. Remember that dream that Joseph had when he was telling them? He said how they would come down and they were going to bow down. And look at here. All right, verse 7. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself stranger unto them, and spake roughly unto them, and said unto them, whence come ye? So he wants to know, where you come? Where you guys from? And they said, we are from the land of Canaan to buy food. And Joseph knew his brothers, but they knew him not, because Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of, and said unto them, ye are what? Spies. Because he remembered what his brothers what? Did to him. And when he looked at his brothers, he saw all of his brothers. Who did he not see?
Benjamin.
So what do you think might have went through his mind?
That they
They
killed him.
might have killed him.
Yeah.
So he begins to find a way to inquire about him. So in order to inquire about him without giving himself away, he has to start asking questions. All right. And so Joseph says, "Ye are spies. To see the nakedness of the land, ye are come." And they said unto him, "Nay, my lord, but to buy food," which is why they are actually there, but that's not why God has them there. Are thy servants come? Verse 11. We are all one man's son. We are true men. Thy servants are no spies. Okay, that's a true statement. All right. Look what they say. Verse 12. And he said unto them, Nay, but to see the nakedness of the land are ye come. And they said, Thy servants are 12 brothers. So now he keeps telling them, no, that's not what you are. So now they're trying to get more information. And so now he says, now they open up. We are 12 brethren, which is true. Okay. Thy son, the sons of one man, which is true. The land of Canaan. And behold, the youngest is this day with our father, which is true. And one is not, which is okay.
True.
A little bit, but that's why they say, can you tell the truth? Which they did. But did they tell the whole truth?
No.
All right. And nothing but the truth. So that's the part that's missing. All right. Verse 14. And Joseph said unto them, That is it that I have spoken unto you. You are spies. Hereby ye shall be proved. By the life of Pharaoh, ye shall not go forth hence, except your youngest brother come hither. So there it is right now. I'm going to find out what y'all been doing with Benjamin.
Yeah, where is he?
Because that's my only what? True brother.
True brother.
All right. So unless your youngest brother come hither, you said you got a younger brother? All right. Let me make sure your story is true. Bring him here. Let me see him. All right. So verse 16. Send one of you and let him fetch your brother, and ye shall be kept in prison. But your word may be proved, whether ye be any true in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh, surely ye are spies. So his first retaliation to this is throwing all of y'all in jail. Okay, every one of y'all, all of y'all deserve a jail sentence, and I'll send one of y'all back.
Right.
To go get the younger brother. That was his first statement, right? That's what he first wants to do. All right. So, and look at verse 17. And he put them all together in one ward for how long? 3 days. I find that significant. How long was Jesus in jail? I mean, in the grave? He was in the grave for 3 days. All right. And Joseph said unto them, the third day, all right, this do and live. Now, why is he saying this do? Because he's changing his mind. And why did he change his mind? Look what he says. For I fear God. And keep in mind, he's talking to them through a what? An interpreter. All right, so always keep that in mind. Verse 19. If ye be true men, let one of your brethren be bound in the house of your prison. Go ye carry corn for the famine of your house, and bring your youngest brother to me, so ye yourself, so shall your words be verified unto me, and shall not die. Then they said one to another, We are verily what? Guilty. Concerning our brother. So what do they start feeling?
Guilt.
They're feeling guilt. They're feeling like what goes around
comes around.
That's what they're feeling, right? In that we saw the what? Anguish of his soul. So when they had Joseph in the what? In the pit,
In the pit.
selling him to the Midianites and the other band that was with the Midianites. I forget what the other one it was.
The Hittites?
And but when he saw that he had anguish. We saw it. We saw it, and they didn't give any sympathy to it. So they said, in that we saw the anguish of his soul when he besought us, and we would not hear. Therefore is this distress come upon us. Look at verse 22.
Joseph was begging for them,
He was begging.
and
They wouldn't do it. 22. And Reuben answered them, saying, Spake I not unto you, saying, Do not sin against the child? And ye would not hear. So Reuben is now letting them know, I told you. All right? But yet he didn't take charge like he should have. Therefore, behold, also his blood is required. What are they feeling? Guilt. They feel like we deserve what we got. Okay. 23. And they knew not that Joseph understood them, for he spake unto them by an interpreter. And he turned himself from them and what? And wept. So now Joseph is feeling sad because he's watching them have anguish about the fact that they didn't pay attention to his anguish. Plus Joseph is probably remembering, and all that pain is being revisited. So he goes and he weeps. And he returned unto them again and commanded and communed with them, and took from them Simeon and bound him before their eyes. Now I find it interesting they took Simeon. I don't know if you remember Simeon. Remember when Dinah got taken?
Oh, yeah.
And she was raped, but then later the guy that raped her fell in love with her, wanted to marry her.
Yeah.
And Simeon and Levi were the ones that made that statement. They said, well, I'll tell you what, if y'all want to marry my sister, all the men of this town's got to be what? Circumcised. And then we'll concede to marry you. And then he went back and convinced everybody in the town to be circumcised. And then when everybody had gotten circumcised on the what? On that third day when they were sore, Simeon and Levi went down and did what? Killed all the men. Right. So Simeon's got an issue. All right?
Yeah, I would say so.
He and we gonna see him again. And then when later on, when Jacob gives blessings once he comes to Egypt and all that stuff, he's gonna give blessings to all of them. He's gonna say something about Simeon, and about his violence and about his attitude. All right, so we'll see that again later on. But here's another situation where Simeon's anger pops up, and how he's unable to handle it, and he is held accountable for it. All right, so Simeon is the one that was bound up. So why Simeon? You know, all the brothers are going forth, but Simeon is bound up. Why? Because of his anger. All right, so Joseph picked him, probably because with him being the next oldest, and the oldest one, Reuben, was trying to maybe speak something like, well, let's not hurt him. And Simeon was probably one saying something like, well, you shut up, we can do what we want to do type of thing. You know, I'm just surmising here.
Reuben went away, and
Reuben went away, and when he came back, exactly. All right. So 25. Then Joseph commanded to fill their sacks with what? Corn, and to restore every man's what? Money in a sack. So he didn't want nothing from them. You know, that's my brothers, and they're going down to help my family. So I'm going to bless my family, give them a what? Double portion. This is called having your cake and eating it too. Okay. All right. And thus did he unto them. And they laden their asses with the corn and departed hence. And as one of them opened their sack to give his ass provender in the inn, he espied his money. So he looked in there and saw in his sack, my money is in here. And behold, it was in his sack's mouth. And he said unto his unto his brethren, my money is restored, and lo, it is even in my sack. And their hearts what? Failed them. And they were what? Afraid, saying one to another, what is this that God has done unto us? Now, I find this real interesting. Everybody in the story is worried. Jacob's worried. Reuben and all the other 10 boys, they're all worried. Simeon's in jail, right? And so now when they're coming back, one of them open up their sack and they find the money in it. Now he's worried. Everybody's worried, but they're worried about things that actually are all for their what?
Good.
This is our scripture. It says, all things work together.
For the good, for them that love the Lord according to his purpose.
All right. And so all of this is really working out. But when we experience it moment by moment by moment in life, it seems like it's something to worry about. It seems like it's something to be concerned about. But this is why Jesus told us that we need to have what? Faith in God. Right? Not just faith, but faith in what? Faith in God. Because see, you have to be careful because our religious leaders today tell us to build up your faith, period. Because faith can change things and make things happen, and it can make you, all right. And so it gives the control and the power to who? To you. To you. You build your faith up and watch what can happen. But I'm not trying to be Superman in faith. I'm trying to have great faith in God. Because God can bring, because just because I have faith don't mean I won't go through tough times. But if I got faith in God, I know my tough times are working out for God's plan, which is always good for those that love him.
Amen.
So you can be set on fire, but not feel it. That's the Hebrew boys.
Amen.
You can be living with lions, but not being what? Attacked. So you can be where you might not want to be. Who wants to be on fire? I'm not signing up for that. Who wants to spend the night with the lions? I'm not getting in that line. All right. But if your faith moves you in that direction and you are experiencing these things, you're experiencing financial difficulties, health difficulties, family problems, community issues. You experiencing all those things. You're going through it, knowing that I'm going through it. What? In God. In God. And I gotta find a way to look at stuff like this and go, God's not making any mistakes here. But now somebody will tell you, well, if God's not making no mistakes, why are you on fire? Why are you in the lion's den? Yeah. And sometimes you can't. I can't deny that. I can't deny that I got burned down. I can't deny that my house got burned down. But that don't mean that God's blessing for me is burnt.
Doesn't mean that God left you either.
Exactly.
Because he said, I will never leave you.
Never leave you, nor forsake you.
But God allows a lot of things to happen that we don't understand.
Exactly.
So we can't be trying to figure out the mind of God, because if we can do that, that make us what? And we can't be that. So we have to have faith in God, not the faith of God, because we can't have the faith of God.
Exactly. Faith in him, exactly. And so you can even go back to where with Joseph, when he was thrown in, when he was sold as a slave, lied on, thrown in prison. Each time it kept saying, but God was what? With him.
With him.
All right. So now all this confusion, everybody here is worried about something. But God's got it all what? It's all going to work together. It's all going to come around. All right. But we can't see that right now. Now, how do we apply that to our lives? Lord, help us to do that, right? Because we get mad, we get upset. There's anger going on here. Ruben's hollering, I told y'all we shouldn't have, everybody's fussing.
Yeah.
Right? Why? Because they mad. And that's what you do when you get mad. You start fussing, you start blaming you all. If you hadn't done this and you hadn't done... Sometimes it's just good to say, you know what? Let me stop. I probably could blame him from the point of view in which I see it. I probably could and feel like I should blame him or blame her. I got all the evidence I need to point my finger and get in your face and say, if you hadn't done this, we can feel like that. But if we stop and understand, did God know about this? Was God aware of this? So
that's the thing I don't understand, why people think that God doesn't know what's going on. It's like they think he doesn't know what's going on.
Took him by surprise.
Like, oops, God didn't see this, or God, where are you? God always was. He always is. He's always there. Just because you're going through a little trial, I mean, you have to look at your Savior.
Mm-hmm.
Was God there when he was hanging on the cross?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so those are the things. And so now we watch these people. Now we get overconfident. Let's be very careful here. Where would we be in those same shoes?
In the same spot.
So we would maybe have the same worries, the same concerns. So then, since we're not in that and we're reviewing it, what do we pull from this?
Yeah, what lesson do we learn?
Can we take this and say, the next time I want to do something like this, can I pause, take a moment, and say, I want to blame, I want to accuse, I want to worry. God's got this. Can we do that?
Well, I think
and that's having faith in who? Having faith in God. Not being motivated and dictated to by our what? Circumstances. So let's see how this works out. I mean, we're not going to get to the conclusion of it today, but we're going to see a lot of this stuff start to, folks going to be pointing, and we can see that folks worry about stuff that's not true too. All right, we're going to see that in a minute too. We worry about things that are just not true at all because that's how we perceive it. All right. So it says that he saw the money restored back, and so that's on 28. That's where I took this pause here because he's all upset and worried because he got corn and money. Now you just got that's what he just was really what blessed. But he's looking at it. They're gonna think that we stole the corn
money or something,
or we didn't pay for the. Somehow this is not working, and they're looking at it like, see, with us it'd have been like, ooh, the IRS is coming to get me. That's how we be looking at it. We be like, don't spend none of that money. We don't want to make sure those bills ain't marked. When God's just like, no, I'm blessing you. I'm giving you a blessing. But we're not seeing it because we're so used to being worried. 29. And they came unto Jacob, their father, and unto the land of Canaan, and told all that befell them, saying, the man who is in the land, who is the Lord of the land, spake what? Roughly to us, and took us for spies. All right. So now, did he really believe they were spies? No, he knew who they were. So the brothers believed something that's what? Not true. But that's what that society that they were just in wanted them to believe. So when they were in Egypt wanted them to believe something that was what? Not true.
Not true.
And so in this world, our society, Egypt is always looked up as a type of sin. Our world today wants us a lot of times to believe things that is what? Not true. And if you believe it, then you're going to have a whole new reason to have worry. And if you just recognize that that ain't really how it needs to be, you can lose some of your worry. Okay. 31. And we said unto him, we are true men, we are no spies. We are 12 brethren, sons of one father, one is not, and the youngest is this day with our father. All right. Now, the brothers know what happened to Joseph They don't know, but they still don't know whether Joseph is what? Dead or alive.
Right.
Okay? But they know what happened. Okay? So they have still what? Incomplete information. Joseph knows what's going on. So they're ignorant there. All right? 33. And the man, the Lord of the country, said unto us, hereby shall I know ye are true men. Leave one of your brethren with me, and take food for the famine for your household, and be gone. And bring your youngest brother unto me. Then shall I know that ye are no spies, but that ye are true men. So will I deliver you your brother, and ye shall traffic in the land. All right. So they told Jacob, and if we want to continue to traffic, in other words, to go back and forth to get some of this corn, if we want to go back again, we're going to have to bring Benjamin with us. All right. And he said he will also let Simeon go. 35. And it came to pass, as they emptied their sacks, that behold, every man's bundle of money was in his sack. So first they noticed there was just what? One. Now they recognize when they empty everything that what? Every man had their bundle of money. And when both they and their father saw the bundle of money, they were what?
Afraid.
Here we go. Now they're afraid. Do they really have a reason to be afraid that the money's there? No. Because who told them to put the money back? Joseph. Because Joseph didn't want his father or his family to have to what? Pay.
Need.
Right. So you got what you need, plus keep the money.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a blessing that was given to them, but they turned the blessing into a source of what? Worry. Because they don't understand.
Yeah, because they was doing a lot of trickery stuff too.
They were doing. But they don't what? They don't understand. And there's no relaxing in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. There's no relaxing in that. They're all trying to figure it out what? Themselves. And so therefore the anguish comes in, and the frustration and the worry. 36. And Jacob, their father, said unto them, Me have ye brethren of my children. Joseph is not. Okay, Jacob just said what? Joseph is what? Is not. He has no idea that Joseph is what? Still alive. So he's getting ready to complain about something that's what? Not true. And Simeon is not. All right. So in his mind, he's thinking, all I know, guys, is the last time you guys came back without one of your brothers, I never saw them again. I don't know what y'all did to Joseph. Y'all went out again on another trip. Y'all come back with all the money, come back with all this corn, but Simeon's not here. I don't know what's going on, but now Simeon's not. I have no idea what you're doing. But so right now he's got an issue about his brother. But he knows his brother is devious because he watched his brother go in and kill all the men of another town. All right? So he knows his brother, his sons rather, have some mischievous ways about them. All right. So he says, now Simeon is not, and ye will take Benjamin away. So now y'all want to take Benjamin? He's like, no way, that ain't happening. And all these things are what? Against me. Look at that. But really, all these things are what? For him. Because see, the fact that Simeon is there, Simeon's going to be taken care of. He's going to be in jail. But he's going to be watched over. He's being watched over by who? By Joseph. All right. Now, Reuben, and this statement helps me to realize why, although Reuben is the oldest, why ain't nobody paying no attention to him? Because he said the most ridiculous things. What he's about to say here don't make any sense whatsoever. Now I understand. You might be the oldest, but you ain't making a bit of sense. Look what he says here. And Reuben, the oldest boy, I just threw that in there, spake unto his father and said, slay my 2 sons, if I bring him not to thee, and deliver him into thy hands, and I will bring him back to thee again. All right. So what does Reuben say? He says, okay, to his father Jacob, this is what you can do if I don't bring Simeon back and Benjamin back. You can kill your 2 grandchildren.
Yeah.
Really? Is that what you think he would do? And so you look at, sometimes you put this in here, God puts this in here, and you sometimes you just kind of read between the lines and you go, Reuben, he ain't got good advice. He couldn't convince them not to sell, but it don't give us the whole discord as to what his words of discussion and debate were. We didn't get that. So the only ones we get here are about him trying to convince his father. Let us go back down, and I guarantee you, and this is the proof, and this is the assurity I'll give you. If I don't come back, you can kill somebody else in the family. Really? Is that how you're going to solve the problem?
Yeah, he got some problems.
So his solutions
Not too clear.
they just don't fit. All right. And verse, what was that?
38.
38, yeah. And he said, my son shall not go down with you. You know what he's saying? I'm not sending him with you. This is what Jacob said. My son shall not go down with you. For his brother is what? Dead. Okay? That's as far as Jacob is concerned, that's the truth, right? Because he saw the coat that was dipped in the goat's blood. That he believed was his brother's blood, because that's what the boys told him. We believe it was the son's blood, rather, because that's what the brothers told him. All right, and so he's believing this, but it's what? It's not true.
It's not true. It's a lie.
All right. So, but yet he has reason to worry, but really, we should not worry. But everything that makes sense points to he should be upset and worried. But faith in God can supersede logic sometimes. And that's where it's difficult for us to do, because we're going to walk by what makes sense more so than we're going to just often go by faith. And sometimes you can't blame a person. You can't get and tell Jacob, you ain't got no business saying this. Of course he has a business for saying it, but it still don't make it what? True. All right. So and that's something that we have to keep in mind. There are a lot of things that we just absolutely believe that this is just how it is. And God said, no, it's not how it is. That's how it looks. That's what you think. When you add this plus this plus this, you think it's going to equal that. But it's not. Because I'm involved in it. And if I'm involved in it, it's going to be better than you think. It's going to be way better than you think. So get rid of the frustration, get rid of the anger, get rid of the worry, because it's going to be all right. And it's just hard for us to do. This is a lesson to us.
Amen.
In our tough times when we think we absolutely know what's happening, and we don't. It says, and he is left alone. If mischief befall him by the way in which ye go, then shall ye bring down my gray hairs with sorrow and to the grave. So he said, I'll be sorrowful until the day I what? Till the day I die. If I let this happen. I'm trying to hang on to what little bit of peace
that I have.
I'm trying to hang on to what little bit of joy that I can muster up, which is not much. But if you take Benjamin away, I'm not going to ever have a joyful day in my life. Now, here's the thing. What should we have as the basis of our joy? The joy of the Lord
is my strength.
Not the joy of my child is alive or dead. Not the joy of my child is safe or in danger. Not the joy of my son is going someplace where it's difficult, or none of that stuff, because that's what Joseph is seeing. You're going to take Benjamin and take him way over to Egypt? I ain't going to let it happen. Well, but that's where the goodness is. See, he needs to go there because that's where I've already set up blessings for Joseph. But not only that, but all of y'all are going to end up having to go there. Not just him. But that's where the blessings are. So it's important for us to, when we read this, and this is the beauty of the Bible, and we'll close with this, that when you read this, you just don't read it and move on. But you read it and say, okay, I now have to take it and incorporate it into me. All right. See, when you eat food, that food is separate from you, and it can be incorporated by anybody that eats food. But the moment you eat it, it now becomes part of what? Of you. It is part of your system. And it will react to you. If you eat something that you are allergic to, somebody else could have ate it and it been wonderful for them. But if you eat it and you're allergic to it, what happens? It reacts bad to you. So you got to know certain things. But because it's reacting to you, what? Personally. So you got to find out what it is that I have. So once you eat the word, the beauty of the word is it now becomes part of you just like the food do. Now, what are we going to do with Genesis chapter 42? We just ate it. And now we got to find a way to digest it into our thinking, into our faith, into our confidence, into our trust. Knowing that God said that all these things were written for what? Our example.
Yeah.
That we can then take it and turn it into a part of our spiritual DNA. All right, and use it for our walk with God. And be able to pull from this the aspect that, okay, I probably, if I was in their shoes, would do the same thing. But that's why you're showing me this. That's why I get to see this. So I can step above the circumstance, reflect a little bit, and trust you more. Now can I do it? And that's where the actual situation where they say where the rubber meets the road. Can you do it? Because it's not always easy to do. And God knows that. But that's why he gives us the word. And we're going to see this story, and we're going to see other stories like it. But it continues. And then, day by day, can we make those moves? And the key to this, and then we'll close with this, having a desire to want to do it is, I think, the most important thing. I want to be able to trust him in every circumstance and in every situation, knowing that yes, I may be having to do all these different things, and it may seem like I have reasons to worry or something like that, but I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to fret. I'm going to trust. Now, not worrying does not mean not reacting. You don't sit at the train track talking about, well, I ain't got to worry. Because when the train comes, it's just going to be... No, you on the train track, you do what?
You worry.
You go on cross. You don't stand there waiting for the train talking about I ain't got to worry. So, because some people will do that. You see what I'm saying? Some people will take it and use it, twist it. They go too far with it. And so you got to... And that's why you got to go to God, because you got to know that proper what? Balance. God help me. And that's why it's important to read these, but at the same time, build the relationship with God. Because this is not a formula. This isn't something you put in the test tube and you just, okay, every time I shake it up, it's going to come out to this. Right? Well, there's certain formulas no matter what you do. You take 2 parts hydrogen and 1 part oxygen, you're going to always get what? Water. No matter what you do. Right? But when it comes to walking with God, it's more of a relationship and a living than a lab experiment. It's a relationship more than an experiment. So you got to learn the things of the Lord and let God speak to you about what to move, when to move, how to move. But in all your moving, realize He's got this. The Lord's really got this. And then the last thing is be honest and truthful. Trying to get somewhere, right? But know when you're not there. Okay? So when you're trying to lift weight, and it's 200 pounds yet, well, you haven't lifted 100 pounds yet. And you don't need to pulling your back out. Talking about, by faith, no. Ask God to do what? Show you, guide you, just like we do with the weight. You work little by little. Lord, show me. All right? And allow the Lord to move you to where you are. Because see, if you are worried and you try to act like I'm not worried because I believe from that lesson that I shouldn't be worried, that ain't the right response. The right response is, I know from the lesson I shouldn't be worried, but I am worried. So what do?
Help me.
I go to God for help. You see what I'm saying? So now you are going to the Lord about something that you're trying to correct. That ordinarily, if you hadn't had this lesson, you wouldn't have been going to God to correct it. Because you'd have been like, hey, there ain't nothing wrong with worrying. Who wouldn't worry? Well, now I know, okay, maybe I shouldn't worry, but I am. Now I go to God. And what does that do? It just builds that, communication more and more and more. And the more things that you find that I shouldn't worry about, and then next thing you know, the next time it come up, you move on through it, and that thing came and went. I didn't even pop a sweat. I just went right through it. Thank you, the Lord. Then you can thank Him. So first you're going to Him for help, but then the next thing you know, you're going to be going to Him saying, well, Lord, thank you. I kind of went through that. I think I'm moving in the right direction. And that's how you do it. And you watch the Word continuously give you another step, another means to be able to trust God, and you move on. All right? So I'm going to stop there. There's a whole lot I could say about that. I think that was one of those good lessons that got a lot of good stuff in there. If you just take the time to kind of pull that meat off the bone, you're going to get a good meal out of that.
Teaching us how to live holy.
All right. Any other comments or questions?
That was good. Now I was just wondering about that Canaan and was it Egypt?
No, or the
Canaan.
Ishmaelites.
Yeah, Canaan. What was the other thing? Egypt. Where are all these places?
Oh,
Well, they were all in that Middle East, near that Palestine area. So when you look at Israel and that whole area surrounding Israel, north, south, and east. All those places in the Bible, we're going to see.
So is that in the continent?
It's in the Middle East area. So
Is that in the continent of Africa?
No, that would be northeast of Africa. Yes. Yeah. All right. All right, brother. Give us a word of prayer to send us home, please.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today.